Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Shera, Robert Harding, Justin Ritzel, the Citizen Sports Weekly for September 8th, 2022. And my wife's about to walk into the house. We're going to do our week one picks. This is it. We've been waiting for this all fall. Well, actually all summer and all spring. It's starting to feel a little bit like fall. So we're going to get right to it. Our first game is tonight's epic showdown between the world champion LA Rams. Think about my buddy Dave Coleman, the big Rams fan who's still celebrating that Super Bowl. And they are 2.5-point underdogs to Robert's Buffalo Bills. And Robert is all decked out in red. He's ready for tonight. Oh boy, Robert, I'll let you go first. How much are you picking the Bills by tonight?
Well, I will be picking them to cover, Chris, so you can pencil me down for the first pick of our 2022 season here. Of course, I will take the Bills by that -2.5. This is a much anticipated game for, I think, both teams. Obviously, the Rams are celebrating their Super Bowl victory. And then, for the Bills, it's kind of a bit of a redemption tour after that 13-second job last year. That they want to turn things around here. So, and they are the Super Bowl favorites, according to the very betting websites that we frequent. So, this is a chance for both teams to show us what they got early in the season. I think for the Rams, a lot of talk about Matt Stafford and that arm. Supposedly he's okay. He's going to have an additional weapon to throw to this year, and Allen Robinson. I think that'll make the offense, somewhat interesting. He'll have a healthy Cam Akers, which was different than last year. So we'll see what that offense can do. On the other side with the Bills, I think really for this team, the big question is how will that defense hold up? Because Tre'Davious White's out. You're going to have Dane Jackson on one side, and then a rookie corner, likely Kaiir Elam on the other. And so huge test for the defense early on with this game against the Rams. So, as long as the Bills hold up, I think, if they score 30 plus, they easily win this game. So I think really it'll fall to the offense and then the defense, unlike last year against the Chiefs, doing its job against the Rams.
Justin, who do you got?
Well, if you guys will indulge me for a second.
Absolutely.
I wanna revisit last week. Obviously, we made our season predictions, and all three of us picked the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. And Robert felt the need to go out on Twitter and just tell everyone that, all three of us picked the Bills. Okay. I think the Bills, they're, as Robert mentioned, they're the Vegas favorites right now. Someone's got to be the favorite. There's a logical reason for that. Young quarterback. They have the feel of an ascending team. So, okay. And then the other day I was surfing Twitter and I saw the NFL Twitter account, tweet out the NFL Game Day Cruise, their staff predictions. This is the Michael Irvin, Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, that whole crew. They also, all six of them, picked the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. And my eyebrow was raised a little bit. Listen, I get that's a small sample size, but going 9 for 9 on the Bills winning the Super Bowl, it's a little concerning, okay? It's the NFL. You should not have such a universal opinion. So then I did a little more research. On the Athletic website, 22 out of their 40 staff members that cover the NFL pick the Bills to win the Super Bowl. The Ringer, Bill Simmons' website, 7 out of 10 of their NFL people pick the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I tried to check ESPN. I don't have an ESPN Plus account right now, but I would imagine it trends a similar way. I'm sorry, but the Bills should not be such overwhelming favorites in like a stacked AFC and really one of the most unpredictable seasons that we have in store in a long time. They're getting the respect of like the Brady Belichick Patriots. And I'm sorry, the Bills went 11-6 last year. They weren't even the top seed in the AFC. They had a lot of bad losses last year. week one to the corpse of Ben Roethlisberger on their home field, to the lame Jacksonville Jaguars and Urban Meyer. They lost that embarrassing Monday night game to the Patriots. I like the Bills. I've said that many times. I think they have a talented roster, and I think they have, a very talented quarterback, obviously, which is maybe the most important thing to have. But the amount of respect that they are getting for a team that has made one AFC championship appearance and got absolutely smacked in said appearance by the Chiefs, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. So I am switching my Super Bowl pick to the Los Angeles Chargers, who, I get it, you can make a lot of the same arguments that I just made against the Bills, against the Chargers, but I'm sorry. The Bills are getting way too much respect. And to piggyback off that, I am picking the Los Angeles Rams. The defending Super Bowl champion should not be 2.5-point dogs on home field week one. I'm sorry. The Buffalo Bills are not the 2007 Patriots. They're getting way too much respect. They're no longer going to win the Super Bowl in my eyes, and they're not going to win tonight. Rams will cover.
Okay. Well, that's
they will cover and they will win.
Okay. You're absolutely duly noted. All right. So here's the deal here. I look at these teams and I'm like, okay, last season is last season. This is a new season. How are these teams right now? Not what they did last year, but what are they right now? To me, the Bills are a better team than they were a year ago. Von Miller, I get Tre'Davious White's out. Okay, I get it. But I think the Bills are a better team than they were a year ago. Josh Allen is more experienced. Yes, the Ken Dorsey questions with who's calling the plays and everything. I heard a lot about that today on Sports Talk Radio, whatever. But I think the Rams, they don't have Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. There's a couple things there. So the Rams are still one of the best teams in the league, no doubt about it. I'm not saying that they can't get back to the Super Bowl or whatever, but I think right now, as we speak, the Bills are the better team. And going into LA does not fear them. It's not like the Rams have a great home field advantage like they do at Green Bay or Pittsburgh or any of the other great home teams there. I mean, LA, I bet you there'll be a good number of Bills fans at this game. And I think that'll make a difference. So that being said, yeah, I'm going with the Bills to cover the 2.5. I just think that it's at this point, the Bills are the better team and they want to get off to a great start. They know this is a nationally broadcast game. They know that this is their year and they've got to show it and they're going to prove it. And I think they're going to get it done tonight. So, all right. Our next game is my Miami Dolphins hosting the New England Patriots, who are currently in South Florida. Bill Belichick decided to take the team south on Tuesday, 5 days before the game, to try to get acclimated to that Florida heat and humidity. Miami opened up as a 2.5-point favorite. Obviously, the money was going into Miami on that one. The spread is now 3.5. Justin, who do you like in this game?
I'll take Miami. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but Patriots have just had a very weird offseason followed by a weird training camp. If they would have just come out straight away and said, like, Bill Belichick is calling offensive plays, then I probably wouldn't be so down on New England. But they've got this smorgasbord of, offensive play callers supposedly with, Belichick is going to call plays sometimes. Matt Patricia, who couldn't make it as a coordinator or head coach last time he was highly ranked on an NFL staff. Now he's going to be calling plays sometimes. Joe Judge, who was a special teams coach, he might call plays once in a while. It's just, I don't know what the hell is going on in New England. I think Belichick for so long was the guy who outsmarted everyone else. And now he's just gone too far and he's outsmarted himself so much that now he's the dumb guy in the room. So I think New England's going to have a terrible season. I don't, really necessarily love Tua or the Dolphins, but I think they'll cover here.
All right, Robert.
Yeah, I think really this is a chance for Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins to show us what they got. It's an early test against Belichick. The defense mastermind. So I think this is a chance for the Dolphins to. All right, let's see if you guys can take that next step and kind of elevate yourselves into the playoff contender conversation. Tua has the weapons, no excuses anymore. You've got one of the best receivers in the game. You got one of the best up and coming receivers in the game with Jalen Waddle, who showed last year, what he can do. They Mike McDaniel brought in some extra help at running back. So this team's going to have a plethora of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And that defense, Chris, as well as the rest of us, when they play at a top level, they're tough to beat unless you're the Bills, which they'll smoke them all season. They'll smoke them. But against everybody else, the Dolphins will do fine, I think. So, with those two things, to Justin's point, just a weird offseason with the Patriots. I can't wait to talk to friend of the program, Bob Sosi, and get his thoughts on what happened there and, maybe the inside scoop on, why Belichick decided to do this. But just weird, and especially given the fact that you have a young quarterback in Mac Jones and, how that could affect his development and the continuity with the offense, having one person versus who knows from week to week, and I think that's really something that wasn't taken into consideration here by the Patriots. But who knows? Maybe Mac Jones will do fine, but not this week, taking the Dolphins.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys. It's nice to know you have faith in my team, as do I.
Whoa, easy. Despite what, Blue of the Earth's biggest fan said about my team, I wouldn't jump the gun on, talk about, having faith in your team. We just like them this week. We'll see what next week.
That's good. All right. So, for those who don't remember, Miami finished the regular season against New England. Now, Miami was eliminated from the playoffs. New England basically had a spot wrapped up, and Miami smoked them. I mean, it really was they were a big underdog, and they came out and went right down the field on their first drive, and Jalen Waddle scored a touchdown, and it was no contest. Miami ended up winning. I think they got a touchdown the last play of the game, like a fumble return or something at the goal line. But anyways, I think Miami is a much better team than they were last year for obvious reasons. I don't have to go through all of them, all the offensive changes they've made. And I think the defense, to me, they've added some good players too. Mac Jones, I don't know what all the love for this guy is. I don't think he had that great a year last year. I understand he's a rookie quarterback, but people were making this guy out to be the second coming of Tom Brady or something. And to me, he didn't show anything really. I mean, he had some good games and stuff, but I mean, he's not that great a quarterback, at least not right now. Maybe someday he might be, but not right now. The Dolphins are clearly the better team. And yeah, Belichick can take his team to Miami early and everything. But something, there's one thing about practicing in the heat, and there's another thing about actually playing a real game of football in the heat. And that's where this is going to come into a factor. I think Miami's going to run the ball a lot. I think they're going to try to establish the run. And I think that's what's going to wear down the Patriots late in the game. And I think that's where Miami might try to throw the ball a little bit more to put it away. The short passes over the middle, the Hill and Waddle, we'll see what happens. I do think they're going to go deep early, though. I think you're going to see some deep shots just to try to, put some fear into the new Patriots. So I like Miami to cover the 3.5. I wish it was still 2.5, but hey, 3.5 is what it is. I'm picking Miami to cover.
I love you Dolphins fans.
Yeah.
That act like climate change isn't a thing and that Gatorade wasn't invented.
Well, first of all,
you guys with this heat in September and October, oh my God, it's the toughest thing to play in. Please, let's see you clowns play in the snow for once.
I'll say this. I've been to a December game in Buffalo, okay? And I've been to a September game in Miami. I'd rather take the September game in Buffalo. And I love the heat. Don't get me wrong. I love heat, but it's not the heat, as the old saying goes. It's the humidity. The humidity is a completely different animal. It is incredible how hot and humid. Yeah, Gatorade. Well, that's great, but you can't drink Gatorade while you're playing, Robert. How many guys are going to be getting IVs on Sunday? Keep an eye out on that one, okay? I'm just saying that heat and humidity is a different, when you combine those two factors, it's a different beast unless you're acclimated to it. And it takes time to get acclimated to it. I don't think it's going to take 5 days for New England, who's, by the way, probably doing mostly walkthroughs, maybe having one practice with pads. You can't simulate game conditions like that. So anyways, we'll see what happens. All right, our next game. Oh, we had to pick an AFC West game, didn't we? And, of course, we had to pick a Chargers game because we know just Justin loves the Chargers. Well, that was a running theme last season. So Vegas is at the Chargers. Chargers are 3.5-point favorites. Justin, I'll let you go first. Who do you like in this game?
Well, come on, this would be bad for the
course.
brand if I went against the Chargers.
I mean, come
No,
on.
of course I'm gonna pick them. I think the Chargers are gonna win the division. Obviously, I just changed my pick to them winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, and I think the Raiders are gonna finish last in the AFC West, as we talked about last week. The Raiders are a very top-heavy team. They have Devontae Adams, who's best at his position. They have Max Crosby, who's a great defensive end. They added Chandler Jones, another good pass rusher. And they have Darren Waller, who's one of the best tight ends in football. But everywhere else on their roster is a little sketchy for me. I think the Chargers just have not only a better quarterback, but just a better roster overall. And the thing with the Chargers over the years is they were never able to protect Phillip Rivers, and they weren't always able to protect Justin Herbert over these last couple of years. But I think they can slow down that Vegas pass rush enough, and they'll score plenty of points against a secondary that I can't even name a single player. So I like the Chargers, and I like the Chargers big.
All right, so I'm gonna go next here. So yeah, this to me is one of the toughest games of the week, because I mean, we remember what happened the last time these two teams played in Week 17. It was a classic, went to overtime, and it looked like there was going to be a tie, and then the Raiders decided to kick the field goal and put the Steelers in the playoffs in the last play there. Anyways, yeah, I mean, look, the Chargers, this is the year that they've kind of step up a little bit. Vegas, I mean, look, great team, great quarterback. They've got, your boy Adams from Green Bay, Justin. Yeah, I said great quarterback. I didn't say the greatest quarterback. I didn't say, but he's a great quarterback right now. I think it's going to take a little time for McDaniel's system to kick in. And I think the Chargers are going to look for revenge. So I like the Chargers to cover the 3.5. It's a big spread, but I'm going with the Chargers to cover. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, I'll make it a clean sweep with the Chargers here. I think that really the big question mark for me with the Chargers is, can Brandon Staley stay out of his own way? What we saw last year is some of the decisions he made, which I like aggression, from the coaching position. I think it's, wrong for these guys to be, conservative all the time, which, some coaches are, especially if they're defensive minded coaches. But, I give Staley credit on one facet that, he does want to be aggressive, whether it's in fourth down situations, going for two, whatever. But there were some decisions that he made last year that certainly cost that team, I think. And where, he probably should have been a little more mild-mannered than just, always, foot to the gas, like he's Shira driving through a construction zone. But I think that the Chargers are a better team than the Raiders, on both sides of the ball. I think the Chargers have improved the defense in the offseason. And then, you look at the offensive side of the ball, and Justin Herbert, this is why, he's my MVP pick this year. I won't be changing that. I really like what they have on the offensive side of the ball here. You got Eckler at running back. He showed last year, between Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, those two guys, they had big years. So I think that he's set for a big year there with the Chargers, and I think it all starts against this in this divisional rivalry game, and the Chargers will get the win. They'll take care of business.
All right, and let's see. I think that's it for that game. So our last game is Tampa Bay, 2.5-point favorites on the road at Dallas. So I'll go first on this one. All righty. So I get it. Tom Brady. The guy's a walking soap opera. He took 11 days off. What was he doing? What was going on? Was it the Masked Singer? Was it something else? Personal issues? Who knows what? But I think it did serve as a distraction for the Buccaneers. New coach too. Dallas. I mean, look, I understand Dallas has had some offensive line issues with injuries and things. I still think their defense is pretty darn good. Micah Parsons, and of course they still have Elliott and Prescott, who I think, are pretty good 1-2 punch. Plus the game is in Dallas. It's 2.5. I like Dallas to cover the spread. That's my underdog or upset pick, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going with the Cowboys to beat the Buccaneers. Go ahead, Robert.
Unbelievable. The Cowboys defense, something worth remembering, because they get a lot of love. Justin and I know this. They get a lot of love, on in fantasy football. Oh, Dallas defense put up a lot of points last year. Well, a lot of that was via turnover. It wasn't that they had a ton of success stopping opposing offenses. Teams were able to move the ball against them, but they were able to produce takeaways, and that's really where they padded their numbers. Obviously, Stephon Diggs' brother played a big role in that. Trayvon Diggs, he had a big year with all his interceptions and things. Micah Parsons certainly stood out. But look, no matter what I say this year about Giselle's future ex-husband, I think that they can win this game against the Cowboys. I think they just have the better team. They have a pretty good defense, obviously a pretty good offense too. Brady's got his pick of players to throw to, even with Gronk, retiring and soaking up the sun, or calling UFC or whatever he's doing now. I think the Buccaneers from top to bottom are the better team, and they should win this game. So yeah, they're my pick for this one.
All right. So Robert's got the Bucks, and go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, it's strange that this was the Thursday night opener last year, and Dallas actually went on the road to Tampa and made it a close game. I think Dallas ended up covering what was a pretty big spread. So I guess there is a recipe here for the Cowboys to keep this a game, especially with it being on their home field. But I just think, despite all the Brady drama, if there's one guy who I think can kind of compartmentalize all that stuff and heck, even turn it into fuel to perform better, it's him. And I just think this is matching up the rosters. This is a bad matchup for the Cowboys. Like last year, they could hang with Tampa because they had, Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, and their offensive line was a lot healthier. So, they could throw the ball up and down the field against Tampa because they had the bodies to do so. That's not the case this year. They're down two of those receivers from last year. Their offensive line is already hurt, and that's where Tampa, I think, is going to win this game, is in the trenches. Dallas's really recipe for success here is that Micah Parsons just takes over the game. But if Brady gets any time or gets rid of the ball quickly, as he's known to do, I think that Dallas secondary is ripe for the picking, especially with all those receivers they have. So I like Tampa, but I guess we'll see. It's going to be a fun game. I know that. I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams, especially if Dallas can pull it off. But I like Tampa.
No, I'm on an island.
I would not want to be one of the quarterbacks in this game because of all the stuff with the offensive lines for both of these teams. Because with Brady and the Bucks, there's been injury, retirement. Obviously the Cowboys have their issues, and as we know, in this day and age of the NFL, offensive line play ain't that great in September. So it could get ugly for both of these quarterbacks. Hopefully Giselle doesn't cry too much.
All righty. All right, guys. Anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
Go Pack.
All right. Okay, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll be doing this.
Pick them.
Yes, we'll be going. Yes, we'll get to the Packers. Don't worry.
I wasn't crushing you, Chris. I just said
No.
I wouldn't have picked them this week. I think it's a terrible game for them. I don't like their odds.
Anyways, well, actually, I did place a small parlay on the Packers and have them covering, so I have some faith in them. So,
Okay.
Go Pack, go.
You might as well flush that money down the toilet.
Nah, I didn't. Well, luckily, it was only a couple bucks, so nothing big. So, anyways, guys.
They never win in Minnesota.
Look, this is great. Week 1, there's something special about it. It's like a Christmas Day type celebration in some ways, and it's going to be a lot of fun to have the Bills game on tonight, and then of course all the games on Sunday. And folks, we appreciate you watching our video, and if you want to use our picks, go for it. But don't blame us if you lose. But anyways, it's all in good fun. That's the thing you got to remember. And thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.